it would hurt a lot. You could also go Frostmancy Victor top.
Yeah, we were
see this in solo queue
yeah.
a little bit, so we'll wait and see. But they flashed the Victor. They think about it. I'm interested to see now that Vladimir can't scale next to Karma, what the thought is from Hanwha Life. They don't have a pure confirmation yet. There's no Braum. On this side, Braum might be a nice pickup for Hanwha Life as a takeaway, though. Feels like Braum right now is, with Alistar and Thresh banned especially, the best possible support on the patch. So wait and see how Hanwha Life approaches. They're actually going to crib away the Tahm Kench.
All right, so Tahm going to be locked in here once again. Hanwha Life theoretically going for the same team comp that they had last time, but no Vladimir available for Tal to play against that lane. Kai'Sa being hovered here from Gen.G certainly was a favorite for Ruler in patches gone by, but is it going to be the same thing? Banned in game 1, and 7 seconds to go before that could be locked in here for Gen.G in game number 2.
I want to see it, because I want to see and understand how it is and what the build is. Do you go more AP? Basically, every AD carry's tried different things, so I'm interested to see what the decision is. And it's now actually a Flex Gragas pick on this side as well.
That's going to Life. That is definitely Life's Gragas.
I agree, but could also be in other lanes. So given Life's performance on the champion and the fact that Karma top just has to be the way because it's Gen.G, and we're pretty much know 100% they were the reason that we're playing this meta this week.
Yep.
They would definitely allow people like Kevin Chu, tweet at me if I'm wrong. Temp gonna lock in his Zoe. No reason to move away from that pick. And remember that Zoe away from Fly is something we haven't discussed. Here's a question. Do you ban Aurelion Sol? Because he hasn't gone towards it. BDD, the only Aurelion Sol player we've had. It can lane against Zoe decently. It's not fantastic by any means, but you try to get out there.
The answer's yes, Papa.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with it because you can just subvert the mid lane for a while and then get, say, a Banshees or a Rod of Ages and try to just power through it. They don't want to see Fly on full power, and we must admit that Fly, when he gets down to his 4th or 5th champion, usually seems to lose out when it comes to his effectiveness in the mid lane.
Well, does that mean that a Lissandra ban comes in here against Fly? Because he pretty happily picked that one up at last pick in our first game.
Urgot, Aurelion Sol. Those are 2 big picks for him, but no, we don't see the Lissandra. They seem it is a good matchup for Zoe. So
yeah, so Temp wants to abuse it once again. I could understand that.
And Fly hasn't necessarily been like out roaming. His roam timings haven't been as hot as they were on KT or even on Longzhu when they were looking pretty decent in the first round robin of Spring in 2017. So just leaving it there, like the Sivir ban, because I think that Sivir lanes into Kai'Sa just fine. This might be the time for the Jinx, by the way, as it's not banned against Songyun this time.
Also, Tal could play this on the top side of the map if the Cassiopeia wants to be opted in for, as Teemo's the other option. And but Ashe is going to be locked in.
Yeah, they're just happy with Ashe. This is before the Conqueror change, and the Korean casters were talking about how Conqueror Ashe could be a huge thing, given the Rangers focus and the Q synergy with that one on patch 9.4. We're still on 9.3. Sion got taken down a notch. This could be mid lane Sion from Gen.G. It could also be top lane. Let's see what's happening here. They're leaving their options open and now potentially trying to say, wait, maybe it's a mid lane Karma without Frostmancy. How is Hanwha Life going to diagnose? They need to pick a top laner still on the red side.
They also need to pick a jungler here or a support theoretically, but of course the jungler is going to be what's opted in for. Life going to be on that support Gragas that he's been so incredibly good at. So Lee Sin locked away for Peanut, a favorite of his.
I do like that Gen.G has quite a lot of stuff going on, so I'm waiting to see what Hanwha Life decide. They're going to think it's Karma, but it could be Sion when it comes to top lane.
And think about how terrible the hijack is with just Mantra. What happens?
I think it's going to be Yorick. Let's do it. Come on,
Tal.
Here it is!
Necromancy versus Frostmancy, Papa Smithy. That's what we wanted. And can he survive the lane, though, is the question.
The last time Yorick Mori was played was CJ Enters Frost in 2013 summer. Monty and Doa bringing you a complete different format 2 years before the league format. And back when it was tournaments. That is so long. 2,028 days ago is the last time we saw Yorick Mori.
And do you know what's also beautiful? The fact that Shy also played for the Rocks Tigers, which then became Hanwha Life Esports, and now it's being played by Tal. What goes around comes around, Papa Smithy, and it's come right back into this game. Game 2, Gen.G versus Hanwha Life, and we've got all the new stuff, all the fun stuff.
And we feel prepared because we talked about it. The graphics department knew about it. It was played in Challengers on Monday, and every team I talked to said, man, Yorick Mori's not bad. And I'm like, oh, this is not a coincidence. That's too many unrelated people who are into the Yorick Mori. feels a bit like when we had 3 weeks off and then Urgot was the most OP thing around.
Yep.
Yorick Mori, more of a trade-off, not quite mid-lane domination every game, but a strong laner, and it's going to be a strong laner versus the Frostmancy, and might even go the Ancient Coin once again.
Yeah, we'll see what is actually going to happen here from Tal, because he navigated the Frostmancy lane very nicely considering.
It's going to hurt. It is ranged versus melee, but
he
Yorick
wants to upgrade those deep damage taken per minute stats.
We'll wait and see if he goes Corrupting Potion or if he goes Ancient Coin. Again, I talked about Nasus, and while that's a bit too risky, Yorick Mori has a couple of different ways to interact with this lane, but mostly getting hit from range and not being able to respond with a Conqueror trade as much as he might want to. But we got Yorick, so we're happy anyway.
Yep, exactly right. And now, of course, that Maiden can be tethered to you so you can battle with her at all times. See how it works as we get into Game 2. Took a long time for Yorick to get a skin. You can see has some sweet emote spam available to him. And finally, after so many years, he's back here in the LCK.
They're getting a cheer just for the return of Yorick Mori. See, we remembered you. There you go,
Of course
Yorick.
we remembered
We
Yorick
would never
Mori.
forget you. And notice, no Ancient Coin. He's
right.
battling against the Karma. I was on the receiving end of some Yorick Mori, big pick in solo queue right now, so everyone obviously feeling it. You know, if you misplay against the W, it doesn't matter if you're Vladimir, you're still pretty dead. So there is actually some decent gank assist here for the Olaf. You start the slows, if the flash is down, you're going to have a bad time. Frostmancy will happen from Roach and Cuvée. So still going to be about building up a gold lead, and this time, because we don't have an answering GP10, those 10-minute switchovers to the gold will be very fun to track.
Yeah, exactly. But this is an example of a lane that this Frostmancy Karma can abuse pretty disgustingly. So we'll see whether Cuvée is going to have a better time than Roach did in his range versus range matchup. As that was a pretty smooth Guardian that Key activated to keep all the health bars. Pretty happy here between the Tahm Kench and the Ashe. So interestingly enough, a Gen.G favorite lane. It
is indeed. I'm very interested to see lane positioning between Karma and Yorick. Now, again, people do not try this at home. If you go for the Spell Thief's top lane Karma, you'll be very upset to find that now you need to be within 1500 range, like basically on screen of an ally to be able to get the gold. The proc is still consumed, but the gold doesn't come in. The Korean teams were given the option to play with or without it, and the vote was to play without the hotfix for this week, and then come Wednesday next week, the hotfix will be live. We get a pause here. I assume it's not CS number related.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not in a Game 2. I feel like that's a silly one. It looks like it's on Hanwha's side. Let's see, I believe Bono's struggling a little bit.
It's like, this Karma, what's he doing? He ain't hitting. He's hitting me a lot.
Yeah, where's all CS? Why is my Yorick not getting any experience? Oh, wait. He's zoned under his turret? What? I was busy taking red buff.
It seems like we're having some PC issues on the side of Bono. Sorry about that, Bono.
Yeah. His PC's lagging because his Frostmancy is so awful. It's clogging up his PC. We might have this issue. Liquid cooling, that's the problem. Too much Frostmancy in his computer.
But we're back here. The Lunar New Year break is over, so isn't it time for an overdue podcast?
Hey, that's true.
A lot of things game and non-game related to talk about right now, given the 9.3 hitting, the fact that Frostmancy is live, called Dunchik in Korea, which translates to fasting, and we saw the fasting was about, what, 8-9 minutes in game number 1, and then suddenly was within touching distance of CS, about 50 behind. We were seeing in game number 1.
Gold was about even as the quest was
10
completed,
minutes.
which is what you need to look out for, see whether an advantage or anything can actually
It was about
100
taken. Gold lead for the Ancient Coin Vladimir, but Ancient Coin is involved in that, and more importantly, you're going to be proccing those auto attacks the whole laning phase, right? So you're getting two forms of income after. That's the reason you can go this
afterwards
quest.
You get the explosion of gold, right?
The payoff is multi-pronged. In lane, the fact that you don't have to last hit just warps the game. The reason why I'm not a fan is League of Legends is no denial, right? Compared to other MOBAs that are famous around, denial's not a thing. You can't kill your own minions. So it was always about zoning. It was, I control this minion wave. If you walk up, you're going to take a lot of hits and have to back, right? That was the big trade-off you had in League of Legends. But then when you don't have to last hit, all those times, all the trades, because as you go up in ELOs, you see it's all about this person's going to walk up for a CS, now is the time I harass them. That's gone when that is no longer a thing. They're not even walking up for a CS. They're just in there for harass. The fact that it warped there, but also the fact that you could aggro the minions to get a freeze if you want it. You can still push because you want to push the minions but not actually last hit them. Too much game warping, in my opinion, which is why I'm happy that Frostmancy is a one-week only thing. But it's a thing this week, so we have to talk about it. As Bono says, hey, how you doing, Scion? I want 2 Scuttle Crabs.
Yep, he's going to wander over and grab the second one here, as Peanut doesn't have the ability to attack the Viking. He only level 2. Bono managing to hit level 3 because he farms so much faster. Bit of a fight here on the bottom side, being won out here by Gen.G, as you can see. Wave pushing towards Hanwha Life. Key does have a few potions to eat through, has finished his last one now.
So let's say, I wasn't a big fan of the Kai'Sa ban in game number 1 because Kai'Sa's kind of unexplored in terms of item builds. We'll get to that. What I will say is in this game, Kai'Sa is really set up to succeed. And the reason why I say that is after the mid game, Hanwha Life, they have Olaf in the mid to late game. Again, a bit questionable in terms of role. Can't be tanky enough or do enough damage. Yorick Mori, even though the Maiden follows him, is more of a split pusher than a team fighter.
Yep.
And Kai'Sa, the super thing about Kai'Sa is she doesn't fight front to back if she doesn't want to. She can dive the backline. She can dive the backline with a shield and consider the backline as immobile. It's Ashe Zoe who can be assassinated by a Kai'Sa. So a Kai'Sa with shields and a good gold income can really straight up win this game for the side of Gen.G, even though she's really, once again, kind of a one-threat comp outside of just a bit of plop damage from the Scion and the Karma.
Yeah, theoretical damage coming out of those two, but not exactly notable as you make it to the later stages of the game. Scion, we have to mention, has been touched a little bit by the nerf bat, but not too much. Just a bit of CDR taken back on his W and some damage on the Q, but nothing to stop him from being that ridiculous super tank in the later stages of the game. So Fly should be able to do Scion things as the game moves forward. Oh, just stop looking at the top lane. It makes me so sad. Poor Yorick.
Yeah, Yorick is a melee champion. Doesn't even have the W from before where he could plop a slowing ghoul on the enemy. So
he does have
he has his E, which is kind of annoying, but the ranges don't work out against Karma, it turns out.
Yeah.
So Yorick, he is fasting alongside the Karma in some ways. Can't get access to minions. Bono's bot lane, but it's going to be 3v3 when this happens.
Looks like both junglers thinking about counter ganks as Peanut does spot out the Tahm Kench. That is just dead way too fast. And Key, no response. First blood going over to the Lee Sin, all too easy.
And a nice next level by Gen.G. They had the information advantage. They didn't know for certain where Bono was, but they read the scenario really well. It was a predictable gank timing. And Lee Sin can just be proactive, pick up the kill. And one of the first happy moments, the catharsis of actually doing damage to a Karma.
Yep. Little zombies going to be attacking. Tal reactivates his last rites, I believe called Awakening. Something like that. My Yorick skill names have taken a little bit of a hit. I just want to say Omen of Pestilence, but it doesn't exist anymore.
I don't even think he's called Yorick Mori anymore, but I love saying the full name. Just like I talked about King's Own Dragon X.
We remember! Dang it! Yeah. He asked us so many times.
We didn't remember to say his right name, apparently. Whoops! As Gen.G, I don't want to give away any early Drakes, but that was a really nice move there. Again, information advantage. Counter ganks are always a big thing. When you know more than the enemy about where positions are likely to be, you can play reactive or proactive, and balancing that. Got them the nice first blood, an assist going to Kai'Sa, and a first back timing. Let's see if it's an Infinity Edge rush. Seems very likely now.
Yeah.
With the BF sword in the inventory. You guys are wondering, because back before Infinity Edge had the crit multiplier, and it had crit in itself, building out that Cloak of Agility, or the crit cloak, as we riskily call it.
Yes.
There was always that disagreement. Was it BS Sword Zeal? Was it not? Oh no, coming mid lane, won't find anything. Right now, IE is 112% gold efficient. It gives more AD than, again, before it was reworked into a different item, and more crit. You get 5% more crit when you complete the item. So given the gold efficiency, the fact that it scales into late game, but also is a huge one-item spike, I think if you can go IE first item, you feel really good about it. Doesn't provide you the sustain, and Ashe, for now at least, without the Conqueror changes or anything else, is still going to be sticking with Blade the Ruin King, because Blade the Ruin King, Hurricane, and even Illusion, you don't need to change it, but you still feel really good getting first item IE.
Yeah, precisely, precisely. A lot of options here. I mean, Sungyun could go for it if he wanted to, but obviously isn't this game, as the dagger as well as his Vamp Scepter as Tal Maybe not the time to go in here as Peanut once again in perfect position. Finally slows himself, but it's just the Tempest to go down. Bono wanting to try and find this. Level 6 has been hit, and Peanut has to flash to get himself out of the way. The Maiden is going to get amongst it, and otherwise isn't doing too much as, damn, she looks cool with that skin.
She's back. Wow, it might be the first Maiden. It's the first Maiden ever.
Yeah, well, in the LCK, definitely, yeah.
Wow. Welcome to the LCK, Maiden.
Yeah.
You've been sighted around challengers, but it's different here. And yes, the volume is really loud. Sorry about that,
yeah,
guys.
whose beam is who up there?
I'm more angry about the volume. The goals are actually really loud when they're aggroed with E.
Yeah.
That's a spectator thing. We can't change it. Sorry about that.
I'm actually a bit of a fan, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, this hurts.
Caught in the W. It's not what you want as the Maiden tries to get there, but the minions being a little bit frustrating. The Maiden looking to try and buy that Phantom Dancer as quickly as possible.
And again, this is what you feel. Spot lane.
Yeah, Sungyun's going to get ignited, but the Devour hasn't actually been used yet from Key, so things will be okay.
Experience there was really important. Ruler wasn't level 6. Life going to be further away. Only level 6 there was Songyun, so no ability to all in. If the Cask is there, maybe they're in a lot of trouble. A lot of map movements.
There now.
A lot of map movements happening at the same time. Peanut walking up. That's what happens when you try to play Frostmancer. You're always walking into auto attack range to min-max your goal, get that early quest. That means you're in W range of Yorick, and the punishment if you're actually caught in the middle is at best blowing a flash, at worst your life.
Yeah. And now, Tala's actually managed to get a turret plate here. No turret plates available for Cuvée, of course. Can't push a lane all that effectively. Doesn't want to be getting any of this this farm, the CS. It's now 8.5 minutes in, hasn't completed the quest just yet. And it is that 50 CS mark that we talk about. No Ancient Coin here, so Tal will be behind by a bit more. As Peanut, all available vision there for Hanwha Life. They know that the Lee Sin's there, and now Bono's making his way over. Clearing out vision, Tempt with priority on the Zoe in the mid lane, but the choo-choo train says no. We've got the flash, we've got the Ragnarok. Bono's going to be safe for the moment, but misses the undertow, so can't get anything back. Another arrow is going to fly forward as Life is going to explode. The Ignite's going to be enough from Tempt, who now tries to get on top of Peanut as well. Safeguard to go on over. There it is. Abyssal Voyage coming on forward. Songyun's going to help get a double kill for Tempt. As now Fly's trying to get out, but he's going to get eaten and taken down. It could be a triple, but Songyun says he wants a piece of the pie.
Hanwha Life styling on the reactive side. It's
That's the 1,000 kills for Songyun.
In the LCK, congratulations to Songyun. Needed 5 during this series, so in Korean domestic play. The 8th player, Faker the first one to get there. Faker, Bang, Prey, Ambition, Score, all among the names. Smeb as well. To get to that milestone, congratulations for Songyun enjoying the time. Remember, this was reactive. Fly strolls in. He thinks they're fine, but even though the defensive flash comes out from Olaf, they're re-engaging. And the fact that they're playing around the terrain, just like in game number 1, terrain play with a Zoe is oh so potent. And this is all about Tempt landing everything short of one paddle star. Comes in, does his battling. They clean up from here, and Gen.G egg all over their faces. Pre-quest being cashed in with no karma to join. They give up a whole lot of gold to Hanwha Life.
And Tempt didn't even need to use his own flash during that entire fight. I mean, he used everybody else's flash, but not his own. As now Cuvée tries to get some vision down here, but there's a control ward in the back of that pit. And Yorick up on the top side is actually feeling pretty good. Heading towards Trinity Force, which is the only item that people have decided is the definite choice on Yorick. Definitely a lot of different options after that. Spirit Visage Death Dance is my favorite, because you have so much sustain, it's just disgusting.
There's actually a lot of... See, what I want to talk about a little bit is the Essence Flare no longer being on Essence Reaver, so you don't have, say, Essence Reaver, Riven, and Renekton top. Spear of Shojin, it's kind of like Black Cleaver without the Shred, but you're getting Essence Flare instead, because it has that big chunk of health, a bit of AD. It doesn't build great for junglers, but you get more back timings and more gold. If you're a top laner, you could definitely go Spear of Shojin on a Yorick Mari with a Death Stance and hit 40% CDR at some point. With, of course, Trinity Force, you're going to have 20% already. But you have a lot of interesting options there, and it does open some new build paths. And I feel like Bruiser's got a really nice item, especially if someone else on the team is getting a Black Cleaver or you don't feel like Black Cleaver is necessary. You can do quite a lot. So it's kind of an indirect buff for a class of champions. It's been a bit all over the place.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I feel like you need to go Sorcery to try and at least use the overabundance of CDR that you will have in the build, because Spirit Visage needs to be purchased by Yorick, always has. But I like it. There's just so many different options for Yorick. There always has been. Even before the rework, there are a lot of different choices. It's, do you maximize mana? Do you maximize tankiness? Do you try and be a bruiser? Do you try and do damage? A lot of different choices.
And it's another point where you want to try to work out exactly what Frostmancy achieved. Because right now we can see 56 CS advantage, but remember 500 gold worth of quest is cashed in, probably more at this point. Now you can kill the minions. Again, this is not really a teaching moment because you can't play this at home. It's been patched out on the live service. We're still trying to understand the gold numbers and what it means in terms of builds. We really like Kai'Sa with shields at certain points in the game, but remember before that, it's a Karma Scion solo lane, very low damage comp that wants to out-rotate the enemy. And right now, the out-rotation is going to have to be defensive because Hanwha Life won that early skirmish so hard. They've got Rift Herald, they've got early Infernal, and already Gen.G have to battle from behind. They're losing turret plates.
Yeah, look at that cash money coming in from Tempt. The redemption goes down as well, as that's going to activate the bubble, and Peanut down to 200 health behind his turret.
Yep, as bot lane Cask misses.
Yeah, Arrow is going to land there under Ruler as Sungyun's trying to offer the damage back, but Life's the one tanking. And that's going to be absolutely fine. Good dive from Gen.G. Dive continuing here as top side of the map. We've got Bono eating up some of these turret plates. We've got so many plates going over.
This is where it becomes unacceptable. The Karma lane has lost 3 plates. Karma is one of the strongest blind pick top laners ever. Huge harass. Very hard to shut down, but bringing in the jungler, especially pre-14 minutes, allows you to actually harass the Karma out of lane enough to get some more of that gold and to punish the Frostmancy. And that's 3 plates mid, 3 plates top, 6 plates in the solo lane. It's massive.
Yep. And that's the W as well. I mean, zoning QV away means that they can get out of dodge. I mean, these fights in the jungle are actually pretty decent for Yorick because he can block such large portions when you've got choke points like this. Just means that you can't walk through without wasting a bunch of auto attack timers. Yeah, zoning ultimate coming in from Life.
I think he was trying to predict a flash and then ended up looking really silly. There's no heal on Sungyun, so the play there was always going to come off eventually. But yeah, you feel bad when you don't get the flash there that you predict because just looks silly.
But it does guarantee the kill. I do like it when you go for the prediction move where if you miss, you still win. And that was certainly the case as Fly is just getting abused. It's a game of abuse, honestly. It's like Tal getting abused whilst Fly gets abused. Notice
a change in build from the Karma. I wasn't a huge fan of going for first item Luden's wave clear. Against Vladimir, you don't. If you go defensive, you just get super out sustained, so you kind of understand it. Against Yorick, whose trades are very ferocious at one item, going to go Iceborne Gauntlet. This is where you want to see Ardent Censor because you're already going Iceborne Gauntlet. I don't feel like Iceborne Gauntlet AP is the way to go, so going to see a change in ideology. Also kind of fits QV, who is usually on the more tanky side of things, so just an interesting note for the people at home. But the Drake here and the Olaf, and to me the Olaf has kind of been the separator. Is Olaf definitely going to have a lead over Nocturne in the early game. Same is still true with the Lee Sin. Unless Lee Sin gets ahead and has kill pressure, you're going to be just fine as Olaf navigates around. And 2 Drakes pre-15 and turret plates means that when it comes to 2019 League of Legends and the early game is really judged on how many plates did you get, how many neutrals did you get. Well, they got a whole hell of a lot on the side of Hanwha Life.
Yeah, I think it was 6 plates that they were able to actually pick up and get the gold off. As you can see, top lane out of turret may have actually lost 4. So potentially even more than that. A great start here for Hanwha. Only translates into about 2,000 gold, not even that. As far as the lead, thank you very much, Frostmancy, but Hanwha Life, I mean, we know how this story goes. We saw it in game number 1, and once again, the plays are working. And I think a lot of it has to do with this Tahm Kench, and the fact that they play around Keen as Abyssal Voyagers very well to guarantee objectives.
And I also think it's a lot about research. Everyone knew that Gen.G would play Frostmancy. They were playing it in solo queue. They've only won the 2 games they won largely around Ruler. This is how they were going to play, and Hanwha Life don't show up superfied. They have an idea of what to do against this, and I think involving the junglers with the Yorick and also farming alongside with the Vlad both worked. And so far, their research has been very well done. Gen.G's only great move so far was the early gank in the bot lane that Peanut was ahead of, but now they're really throwing the blood in their hands of trying to make this pretty transparent strategy work, because so far, Hanwha Life have run the game in game number 2.
Okay, not going to step into that brush, not going to fall for it twice. Okay, Bubble is actually going to land here in the mid lane. It's in goes Bono. Predator's been popped. He's not going to be stopped here either, but the flash out from Fly gets him under his turret.
And that's what you do there as the Olaf. You position on the model, so you have to flash ult or just flash in general. No way out, so Fly's summoner is down. Tempt himself, going to get out of there with his thrift shop flashes. Bot lane, we're going in!
Yeah, the arrow lands once again. Teleport from Yorick as Tal comes in, guarantees the kill onto Life and even takes it as Abyssal Voyage will deliver the rest of Hanwha in here, but it's a kickback onto Key. Immediately has to get out of there, but does live. As Last Right sends all of the minions forward, the Maiden will be taken down by the turret, but Hanwha Life are now set up to siege this bottom outer.
And then to keep going, remember, auto attack reset and also resolve tree means that Yorick Mari, he just deletes turrets. Rest in peace, bot lane turret. Flash there, does not find anything. Wasn't the real flash.
No. But I did like the fact that he threw the bubble in another direction. Ruler shorted it, so he's going to be okay. 25 CS is approximately the lead here for the Zoe, but let's have a look at this one again. Big Arrow just landing onto Life, guarantees the kill.
Yorick TPs aren't Kennen TPs, but still hyped to see our first TP flank from a Yorick in the LCK in the better part of 5.5 years. Again, 2013 summer, shy on CJ Entus last time we saw Yorick. It's a different Yorick now. The Maiden, not as excited, just kind of died in the front line, but another good moment for Hanwha Life means a 2,000 gold lead for them.
Yep. I just love it that now that the Maiden doesn't just run it down, Yorick's like, he's a good champion now.
The weird thing
is, running it down is a bad idea, guys.
I don't know how much of that is the running it down, because it was really annoying that Yorick could leave the lane and there was still some split pushing happening.
Yeah, I mean, you can still do it.
You can. To me, it's a lot also of time to explore a champion. Again, the Urgot is the big comparison to me, where Urgot was changed and then it was a huge delay, and then people are like, wait, this champion's really good. And thankfully, permaban status right now with nurse to everything else.
Yep.
Yorick Mari, gonna be seeing more of him, Atlas, that's for sure. He's doing well in this game. Haven't had the gold flash, or I haven't actually been watching to see where the gold is at, but I think Yorick Mari is doing just fine as mid lane turret's going down for Gen.G.
Yep, all too easy here for Hanwha. They just move in, they take it. We've got a minute until the next Infernal is available. Looks like Tal's going to be heading towards the Sterix Gauge as the next item. Synergy with the Trinity Force, certainly very relevant as he takes down the turret by himself. That's the whole outer ring taken care of by Hanwha Life. It's feeling like this is the type of composition that they're very happy to play over and over again. Gen.G, they have been a team that's guilty of this in the past, where they just concentrate in the draft on getting what they want, and they don't care what they're up against. And Hanwha Life have been able to get their favorite composition 2 games in a row, and I just feel like Gen.G could have done more to deny that from them.
Especially a draft like this, where it's only Kai'Sa. There is only Kai'Sa for damage. It's not even a pretend other damage deal. They really are wet noodles and a Kai'Sa. And when there's 3 items and a Hurricane going on, you can talk about things like, oh, now IE plus Hurricane means 50% crit. There's some synergy there between those items compared to Storm Rays, which just gave a bit of burst. But at 2 items, it feels pretty weak, right? Because Rageblade and IE
not
don't
as
agree.
2 items spiky as it used to be.
They're not best friends when it comes to an item build. And the 2 items aren't even there as they're behind. The 3 items are way later, and there might just be enough damage from Hanwha Life for a pick, and then it doesn't matter how much Kai'Sa has. So very, very narrow is the win condition, and while we're waiting for that to come together for Gen.G, is, you know, Gathering Storm also very indicative of that approach.
Oh, yes.
Hanwha Life are doing good things elsewhere and trading up again and again. Gen.G need that miracle fight. They need an outplay. Not quite a miracle just yet, but Gen.G looking towards the League of Legends gods, and Hanwha Life just waiting for a paddle star to hit.
Exactly. They want these trouble bubbles to land, but Tal says no. Wants to try and get in there with the W. Dark Procession available, and speaking of Dark Processions, is being followed by the Maiden. The new look of the Yorick. That's why we're seeing him come back. Means Battle Yorick in the river is now a thing. He can bring his friends. The invitation wasn't quite there until the last patch.
Peanut took a little bit of burst. That means the jungler's health is down. Does that mean a free second Infernal? Remember, they have everybody building a bit of damage outside of Tahm Kench.
But this is exactly what Hanwha want. Their turn from this is actually fantastic. Arrow going to come in, but the Scion's unstoppable. The Dark Procession is going to block him off, though. Thankfully goes golden, but it straight up does not matter. The stopwatch has to be used defensively, and the Paddle Star is timed so beautifully from Temp.
Because Atlas is only half a story here. I'm in the front line. I'm taking space, says the Scion, but there's no damage behind it. Kai'Sa can't get in there. People are dying left, right, and center. It's a front line with no damage threat. That just means it's kill donations to Hanwha Life.
Oh yeah, now Ruler, you can see he's at full health, but he doesn't even have his Rage Blade yet. The Maiden's overtaken the Baron, helping out Hanwha Life, as Key and Sangyun will make their way through. Peanut, I mean, we've seen him do some incredible steals in the past.
There's so many of them.
Oh, but there is just no chance. Peanut just doesn't have the health bar to do it, and a Baron once again going to go down 21.5 minutes, if you don't mind. And Hanwha Live looking to make this a 2-0 very quickly, Papa Smithy.
It does seem like now we get a pretty unassailable lead. Now, again, consider how Sion mid lane comms work. Sion dives in, and usually you have, say, a 2-item Cogmore or something that's ready to fight, if you remember Meta's past. Now, they have a Kai'Sa who has no AoE, whose front line is too far away from the rest, and they have no other damage. And it's Iceborne, Gauntlet, Karma, and Peanut, who's on the Lee Sin, who has most of a Black Cleaver, maybe a Black Cleaver at this moment. And that means the front line's dead. Everyone can skip in. Zoe's just like, if this Battlestar hits, I'm getting kills, apparently. Nothing can happen. This is what you need to see.
Yeah,
this is the zero damage lull moment. And it's not a criticism of Ruler. It's, why was this the time to fight? You weren't in position to take the Infernal. The enemy team's definitely getting the Drake, and yet you're diving in. You're able to immune an Ash Arrow, which feels good. But from there, there's only a pan A of, man, I'm going to immune this arrow. After that, it's just, and then I'm going to die.
Exactly. And so, not an option. 7,000 gold is the lead here. Double Infernal Drake. Baron rotating. And Hanwha Life looking down the barrel of a 2-0. And a beautiful bounce back after what was a very difficult series against SKT. This is what a break like this can actually do for you, and it feels like it has reinvigorated this Hanwha Life Esports squad. See what it actually means. Tal coming into his own.
There's
so
such
far,
a zoo of things on the screen a second ago.
I know, it's so
4
good.
ghouls, a maiden, a Yorick.
As a Diablo 3 player, I am certainly a fan of this one. Is Cube going to come on up?
Is it how many bad guys do you need for it to be an outnumber when the Yorick is this strong? Is 2v1 actually 2v1?
You need 4 to make it even because he's got at least 3 ghouls with him the whole time and the maiden. There's bubble flies, but Temp not going to find anyone. Okay, there it is. The train's going to come through, but Ragnarok denies all CC. And Gen.G can't actually close the gap. Ruler comes on down, but here's the 4-1. It's working pretty nice.
You think of a different game. You dive in with the Scion, it gets a stun, and then Karma Shield, Ardent Sensor, Kai'Sa with 3 items zooms into the backline, assassinates someone. That's how this comp works. But when you fall behind, it's a lot more anemic. It's a lot more blunt instruments, and the instruments on Hanwha Live's side, pretty damn sharp, if you ask me.
Exactly. I mean, there are certainly other sort of options in a team fight as well. I mean, you get the CC and then Peanut gets to kick someone back in. But
Ruler doesn't get to do anything.
No, he's not having a good time. Tempt wants to claim the next MVP by the looks of things. His Zoe's been clean 2 games in a row, but this one really has been his true calling. Picks up a heal, uses it, even zaps life just out of nowhere, as there's the special delivery, but Key has the Devour, 2 flashes. Will go over to the side of Gen.G, though, for their trouble.
Bit of a positioning snafu, but not going to actually eat any deaths there. Hanwha Life, yeah, it's really not coming together. There's the IE, but we're still waiting on a 3rd item, and that third item might have to be QSS to delay the build.
It is going to be, by the looks of things,
even further on the side of Gen.G.
It's a real worry. Tal's going to come on over. The fight between Peanut and the Maiden, I think was almost winning by the Maiden, as Fly, yeah, that is not the drifting that you want.
It's Olaf spit pushing, of all people.
Well, I mean...
might as well, right?
Yeah, you got someone there, and I mean, Bono's played some Jax before. He knows how to do it. He's going to take down that inhibitor very easily. Yorick has the teleport available. He can be on call. Sangyun as well. Exactly the same information. Infinity Edge almost done for the Ashe. As 4-0-2 for Tempt. He's got 10 stacks on his sweet book, man. He's picking up pages left, right, and center.
We got a Medjai, he's got a Yorick Mori, he's going to win in the LCK after a 5.5-year absence.
After it was Shy that was the last one to play it. I mean, as far as poignant stories,
Papa
this is a pretty
Smithy's
good one.
really happy. Frostmancy's going to be 0-2.
Oh, baby.
And here's the thing. We sat there and we're like, why, LCK team, did you allow Frostmancy to happen? Because now this week is going to be difficult to work out how much spills over into next week, right? Because you can't just repeat Frostmancy games. Why not play the new meta? Why a week of this 1-week meta? Gen.G are like, yes, shields on our 80 carry. This is our way forward. Interestingly, Hanwha Life were like, we thought about it. We think we can beat it. And that's the other reason to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because Hanwha Life seem very prepped for Frostmancy, and Gen.G want to play it, but I believe the draft lets them down a little bit in this game. You understand where they're coming from, but then they're fighting fights before they're ready, and then now the comp looks a bit silly. Like, we're not going to get a full impression of Frostmancy or playing against Frostmancy from especially game number 2, where it feels like Gen.G have made too many mistakes, and now their team comp is kind of void. But it is a fun thought experiment, and that Ashe Arrow will join the many that's somewhere around Runeterra.
Yeah, Runeterra's got a lot of new enchanted crystal arrows delivered by Sangyun that are just rotating around. I assume Runeterra is an orb. I don't know whether we've got any flat Runeterra believers or anything like that.
No flat Runeterras.
No, not flat Runeterras.
He is Yorick Mari. Oh, just Yorick, we should say.
No, well, I mean, it's not just Yorick. It's Yorick, it's Maiden, it's a whole bunch of ghouls.
I think it's
like a great time.
I think it's like wrestling where like sometimes they just drop the last name because they think it sounds better.
Look, Sion's trying to fight him.
Is he?
And Tal says,
I
straight up don't care. Yeah, exactly right. There we go! Just nails him with the E and now Fly, even as a zombie. Tal commands zombies! You can't be doing anything against him, and even the Maiden's able to zone away Ruler, who doesn't want to battle against this huge health bar on the Maiden, which has recently been buffed. It's just disgusting right now.
In case you don't know how the damage comes out, the Maiden herself, her zap doesn't do a lot of damage, but you do maximum health damage if Yorick hits. So 10% max HP this late in the game means that tanky Sion's looking damn brittle.
Yeah.
Exploded by Yorick, and then of all things assassinated by a damn ghoul jumping at him. Oh, ghouls in the dreams. Some nightmares for Gen.G and Fly. Speaking of nightmares.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thankfully, doesn't quite have the range, as Tempt could have flashed to get that Paddle Star delivery onto life, but the body blocking would have been enough most likely.
I mean, Tempt this series, Tempt's just been selling fake Gucci bags. He's not going to use his real one. He's keeping the fakes around him.
I don't even know why he took Flash. What was the point? He's been stealing them everywhere as the arrow's going to fly in. This one lands, and that is going to be a dead Gragas. He gets so many shields, though, and does keep himself alive, but the ghouls aren't quite enough. The redemption gets flashed out of. And the Morning Mist isn't going to land there onto Ruler. The bubble was searching for a Gragas, but doesn't find him. Tempt has managed to get a counterfeit flash and is now searching for Peanut here in the jungle. But Hanwha Life, they can just go back, get themselves another Baron. They've taken that bot lane inhibitor. And that will mean that Super Creeps are knocking on the front door of Gen.G, and they cannot really contest Peanut. Maybe a Miracle Steal, but not after that health bar loss, and especially not when you're sleeping. As there's the Paddle Star, and Tempt finishes him off. Fly delivers himself for free into Hanwha Life as now Tempt continues to dance around this fight. Ruler wants to try and get one team fight where he can do something, but the answer is probably no. He just doesn't have a way in. There are volleys, there are Paddle Stars, there are everything that Hanwha Life has, and they've got a Baron now on top of it as Tempt diving on forward. The cast there looks like he was out of frustration.
Yorick Mori's going to end the game.
Exactly. And Tal says, I'm playing by myself. Come here, Maiden, let's go. And that's the kills just flying forward for Hanwha. This series is over. The 2-0 for Hanwha Life Esports reinvigorated after the Lunar New Year break.
Oh, praise Yorick. He comes back after 5.5 years, and he's looking fearsome. Atlas to Yorick Bands. Can't be too far away. Will we see a Khan Yorick in our second series or a Rascal Yorick? That much seems like the answer is above maybe. We're pointing towards yes.
Exactly.
Hanwha Life Esports, they give Gen.G an all-you-can-eat Frostmancy banquet, and they put it in the dumpster. Really nice stuff here. Hanwha Life were always great at looking at other regions and bringing stuff to the LCK, but the results were up and down. They played Heimerdinger, couldn't find a win with it, and other things. But today they come in, they anticipate that Gen.G were going to go Frostmancy because everyone could, and they just so easily take it down. We don't have a real read on the power level of Frostmancy or the 9.3 one-week meta, but I think we have a real read on Hanwha Life versus Gen.G. Hanwha Life Esports firm their spot in the top 5.
And how did Hanwha win in their first week? They won because they were playing through Sungyun and Key. It was this duo that was playing so well together that was able to get the work done. In this series, it was all about Tal game 1. It was all about that Zoe from Tempt in game number 2. The solo lanes are certainly starting to step up and making this Hanwha squad feel like it's made out of weapons in every single lane.
Now, one thing we should mention is that in both games, Bono had a skirmishing advantage, such as Olaf.
Yep.
And that's where having this overextending top laner starts to fall apart. Because we've seen a tank echo meta. We'll see Silas. You see Karma. If your jungle matchup is winning, you feel so safe walking up and being aggressive. When your jungler is losing, enemy jungler shows up. You're always like, oh, I'm not sure if I can overextend. And you can't get the full value out of Klepto and harassing when the jungle matchup is down. So what I would want to see Gen.G look at when they review this, quite a few things that fell apart, decision-making and team fights in Game 2 especially.
Yep.
But if you're going to repeat Frostmancy, get a skirmishing advantage or at least a wash in the jungle, because there was too much cascading on the side of Hanwha Life that by the end, Ashe Hawk shots and Olafs meant that pulling off the strategy, I don't think the actual in-game adaptation from Gen.G was good enough.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I do want to talk about Hanwha and how they did play around this early game, because I want to commend Bono yet again on improving from his time on BBQ.
It almost feels like we don't talk about last year.
It's just not even a thing anymore.
It's almost more fair to call him a rookie, you know?
Yeah, I guess so, which doesn't feel
Look, we didn't learn a lot from BBQ Oliver's last year, and that's why when we look back on our sayings of this team has some good players, but it's not gelling, you see Ignar going off and having success in the LEC. You see Bono looking a lot more impressive and translating his scrim form. We get to watch the replay, and it started off with the only highlight I imagine Gen.G will have when we have their next matchup later in the week, because apart from that, there were moments like this where they just chose the wrong time to pull the trigger. They weren't fight ready, and they chose to fight, and then Temp skips around, people died, the first Inferno goes the way of Hanwha Life, and they never look back from this point, Atlas.
Yep, just no opportunities, and Hanwha Life are just so good at following up. And this was honestly the beginning of the end for Gen.G, because Temp goes in, gets a double kill, augments it with another assist here at the end.
Did he ever flash? Like real flash?
No, he didn't real flash in that fight at all.
Or this game? I don't think he did.
Maybe not. He
Watch all these
a
replays.
lot of flashes.
Watch all these replays. I bet he always has flash available, because I can't remember. A genuine flash. This was a genuine Yorick Mori teleport flank, which is, again, a rarely seen sight.
Yep.
Yorick Mori first look, gets the big tick.
Yeah, really, really nice. As, yeah, not so nice out of fly there in that last fight. And you saw what Gen.G were trying to do with the composition they set up, but it just straight up was not enough. And it felt like Hanwha Life had all of the answers to a very known quantity. And I think this is what we need to talk about, is information advantage before you go into a draft. And especially after things have been locked in for first pick, like that Karma, because Hanwha Life knew exactly what was going to happen this entire time. And what has 2019 been about? Flex picks. The whole time, his Temp still doesn't flash.
I'm extra impressed because it's a strategy with no stage games apart from one in NA, and there's almost no kind of evidence of how to play against Frostmancy.
Yeah.
It has to be a lot of theory. It has to be a lot of champ select. And Hanwha Life really nailed both. I think that's hard. I think you really need to commend that they were able to play against a strategy that plays itself pretty reliably, but playing against it was largely unexplored super, super well. So my big credit to the coaching staff and the players, as that was the only time his flash was used to kill the damn Gragas.
He needed to make sure he used it at least once, otherwise he may as well have not even taken it. As you can see, very linear on this gold graph, Hanwha Life. That is what you want to see from a well-controlled but still fast-paced game. This was not a slow game whatsoever. Only 2 kills going over to Gen.G. Hanwha Life rolling over them.
2 kills, a turret, otherwise a perfect game for the side of Hanwha Life. The perfect example and tutorial of how to play against Frostmancy as well. Other regions, don't take note. You probably won't have to deal with this.
Feels like it's almost only us.
They're feeling pretty good, and that looks like a nice payout there.
That is a big check. All right.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
$10,000 right there, approximately.
Yeah.
In US dollar numbers. And let's talk to the members of Hanwha Life soon.
Yeah.
I think we're almost ready to send it down to G-Sun for a translation for some probably pretty jovial Hanwha Life members.
Yeah, exactly right. So Temp will pick up that MVP. So you saw him actually standing alongside Tal. So a bit of a spoiler alert there, but wasn't much of a spoiler for us. 5-0-3. The man was an absolute god. And I've been waiting for a Temp pop-off for so long, Papa Smithy, for so long.
You and I both. I kept being the guy who was like, he's better than his team. And,
yeah, I know.
You know, by summer last season, he wasn't really Atlas. All of BBQ was kind of a bit bad altogether, but nice to see him in a new assignment. We didn't even think he'd play much because Lava was the most improved player in Korea of 2018, but vindicating his start and showing us that his Zoe deserves ban status.
Oh, hell yeah.
A really nice takeaway from Fly, who unfortunately, we have to mention, adds to another series where indifferent at best, and the Aurelion Soul ban, I think, was another good little choice there from Hanwha Life.
And that was the only one that they had to invest. They didn't even need to ban, I guess so, but I mean, everyone's going to be banning him. But let's hear from the players themselves as we throw it over to G-Sun to translate.
Thank you very much, guys. Today we're going to be joined by Tal and Temp from Hanwha Life Esports for the MVP interview. How did you spend your holidays? Well, we did lose our final match before the break, so I wasn't really happy, you know. But it's really good to pick up another victory back today. Yeah, we did lose our final match before the vacation. I was a bit sad, but spending time with my family kind of helped me out a lot. We saw better teamwork today. So how many days of break did you guys have? Right after the Lunar New Year, we came back to our gaming house and get back grinding. So that's the reason why we showed some great performance today. I really like her voice, Ta. Thank you very much. So, Crypto, Karma popped up. Did you expect that? Yeah, we did expect it. So we did practice a lot how to counterplay it. So we got great results. So I actually didn't expect them to do it again in the game too. Then Vladimir, was that a prepared pick? Yes, it was. How was the matchup against the No Farm Karma? Well, I had the mindset that let's just let him take the money by the autos. I wasn't really feeling bad. What about your starting item? Well, actually, Karma can like farm up to 2,000 gold. I was getting about 500, so it wasn't a perfect starting item, but yeah, it was one of the strategy. The Baron team fight was really awesome in the game 1. So Temps, whose shot call was that at that moment? I don't really remember exactly. Maybe the jungler or the bot duo, I guess. Oh, that was a great outplay over there. A lot of AoE. Are you confident with your Vladimir play? Whenever I lock in Vladimir, I have no confidence to lose. So, you have a lot of nicknames nowadays. The light like tall, the tough guy, the god like tall. What's your favorite? I like them all. It's all for my fans. I appreciate everything. I like the light like tall. I want to ask you a question over here. Today you are sitting on the chair instead of the head coach with your legs crossed. So is that seat for the MVP? To be honest, I was the first one to get into the coach's box. Did you ever get that seat? No, not really. He was always late. The head coach is always standing up, right? Yeah, he always want to cheer us up and share us good comments, so that's why he's always standing up. So let's move on to game 2. Yorick. But Temps, you played Zoe for game 1 and also game 2. How do you rate Zoe as a champion in the current meta? I have a lot of confidence on it, and also it's a really champion if you play it well, so yeah, it's a fairly good champion. So how did you like your performance today in game 2 against Zion? Yeah, I think I had a lot of priorities, so I think I did pretty well. And Sang-yun finally hit 1,000 kill in LCK. Wasn't he really sad that he didn't get the MVP today? Well, actually he was 1 kill away before game 2, so we told him we left this 1 kill for the game 2, so he must be happy now. So they are the Sang-yun's parents. I heard Sang-yun's dad with a with a check on the fence sign. Is it on Sang-yun, the taste dinner? Congratulations, Sang-yun, for your 1,000 kill. I hope we can have a great dinner with your great dinner time, you know. I hope you can pay for us. So your next match is coming up soon. So a lot of fans are looking forward to seeing you guys performing well. So is there any last comments? This was the first match after a long break. So I'm really happy that we were the one to pick up the victory. We have 2 games left now, so I hope we can make a record as a 6 wins and 3 losses. What about you, Temps? I hope we can all cheer up and pull up great performance in our upcoming series. And surprisingly, we have a guest over here, Sang-yun. Why didn't you guys call me for the interview? I mean, you guys are doing so well and taking away the MVP. Can you give us a round of applause for Sanghyun? Sanghyun, congratulations. Any message about your 1,000 kills? I feel like it has been a while since I've been playing as a pro in LCK, so I appreciate all the love and support from my fans. Thank you very much. Any message for your parents or your dad? Where did you get that card or the sign? I always appreciate you guys coming up to cheer me to the stadium. I always love you, Mom and Dad. Thank you. Tomorrow is a Valentine's Day. Any message for your fans? Maybe Happy Valentine's Day? Happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Jason. That was adorable. Happy Valentine's Day to you guys, too.
That is, of course, for tomorrow. We're gonna be here tomorrow, so I'm sure we'll get to address the fan base there. Really cool to see Sanghyun there. The guy is dripping with charisma. Best interview we have in Korea by far. That's why I want to see him go international. I'd love for Hanwha Life Esports to make it to Worlds, because super entertaining guy that more people should know about. One of our top 580 carries, you would say, pretty comfortably. For a few years, he was always around the 5-6 number, but we lost some big names, and the tier list is being rewritten a bit, so good to see Sanghyun hit 1,000 kills again. Such an elite company he now joins.
Exactly.
The 8th member to join. Faker, Bang, Smeb,
I believe the last
Kuro,
two was Smeb and
Ambition, I believe, was the most recent.
Oh, yes.
Prey was number 2, but guys, we're going to be gone for a while. It's about an hour till we have SKT Kingzone.
But SKT Kingzone